There are many types of horror movies. You have the ones that I can survive easily without a problem. There are some that I can probably survive, but I'll just come out with a couple scratches. But then there are some horror movies that I cannot survive no matter what my strategy or thought process is. No matter what happens, I am not coming out of that thing alive. Now, without a doubt, a horror franchise that I'm not surviving is easily the Saw franchise, because they make you do the most despicable things in these movies that I would probably just rather die than doing them to survive. And then sometimes you're the person who needs to rely on somebody else. One that's like that is the reverse bear trap from the first movie. And there's basically just some sort of trap stuck on somebody, and then the only way to get it off of you is by finding the key and then using it to save yourself. But the key is inside a paralyzed person, so you have to stab inside of them to get the key out of them to save yourself. If I was the person who was being forced to kill a paralyzed dude, making them feel all that stuff, I don't really know what I would do, because if I ended up doing that, I would leave that place absolutely traumatized and I would never be the same again. But I guess in the end, my life is in my hands, so I would probably end up doing it. Now, if I was the person who was paralyzed on the ground in the mercy of another person's hands, I would already know that it's completely over, because there's no way that somebody would be willing to die a terrible death just so that I could live, so I would just be getting ready to feel all that pain. There are actually some traps where you don't have to rely on somebody else and that you don't need to kill somebody else for your safety, but those ones are not that much better. The Venus flytrap requires you to find a key and then to take off a machine using it, preventing you from dying, but the key is behind your eye, and the only way that you can get it is by stabbing that bad boy out, and you will get the key to save yourself. The guy in the trap ends up not getting the key and he just lets the trap kill him, and I do not blame him, because living life after all that would not be very fun, and you might just want to die instead. If I was in this situation, I would definitely consider letting myself die, but there is a chance I would cut out my eye to save myself, but that is pretty low. Terrifier is another one that I would not survive, because Art the Clown in these things is absolutely brutal, and he will kill you in the most painful and nasty ways that he can find. Whenever you try to run away, he's fast too, so most likely he will catch you, and trying to fight him is basically not even an option, because you will be dead in a couple seconds. This guy is pretty hilarious in these movies, but do not let that fool you, because he will do whatever he can to make sure that you suffer the worst death possible. I think that most people can agree that trying to survive these horror movies is pretty unlikely, and you're really just hoping that the way you go out isn't as painful as some of the other ways you could.